Nick Saban. He is leaving Alabama. What was your initial thoughts when you first heard the news, and who was the first name you thought of to replace him?
Man, first of all, I think it's heartbreaking. I hate to see it for Nick Saban. I love Nick Saban. I think the dude's an absolute legend. In my opinion, greatest college football coach of all time. I think it was a little bit earlier than I thought it was going to be, but the guy's like 71, 72 years old. Like, dude, go hang out with your family. Go to the beach. Go live your life. You've been living a stressful life forever. You've done it as good as anyone can do it. And to be honest with you, I don't think that they're like on a caliber right now where they have a big line of guys where they're going to go on a run next year and whatever. I think that he knew it was kind of time. It's kind of time to let it go and let someone else rebuild it. And I'm excited to see that happen. Now, with that, you got to ask yourself, who's going to replace Nick Saban, right? And I'm looking here and I'm like, who could it be? I think a few names on the board that are worth throwing out there. Dabo Swinney, Dan Lanning. I think Lane Kiffin is a weird sleeper in that mix. You got Mike Norvell. You got DeBoer, the Washington head coach, who looks great right now. And I've heard even a couple other names thrown around in that mix. Dollar Bill. We'll talk about Bill Belichick in a little bit, but there's a few people that kind of like Dollar to go up there and handle that. So from the guys I just said, though, man, I don't think it's going to be DeBoer just because I believe that he's happy in Washington. He's got it going on there. And I think he's going to continue on a run there. He's just not been there long enough to leave, I don't think. Mike Norvell, same thing. I don't think Norvell's going to leave Florida State. He's got a lot of good recruits coming in, a lot of good classes in the next 2 or 3 years. They should make a run at a title. So I think that they're happy where they are. You know, I like Dabo, man. I like him, but I don't love him. There's something about him I don't think is that good. And you know what? This makes me sick because I had to watch this clip over and over and over. Like everybody that lives in Colorado and likes the Colorado Buffaloes, Dan Lanning saying, well, they play for clicks. We play for wins. I hated that speech. I thought it was so corny, but you know what, Bryson? I've watched the guy throughout the year and I have to give him his flowers. I think he's a damn good coach. I think that this fits him. I think with Bo Nix leaving, his running back room kind of falling apart there a little bit. I think this is a good time for Dan Lanning. While he's kind of the highest I think he's going to get is right now. I think Dan Lanning should take this job if he gets offered. I think anyone's going to take this job if they get offered the job. But my pick right now, man, I'm going to go with Dan Lanning, and I think Dabo is probably my second pick. Who are you looking at here, man? Who do you like to replace Saban?
So first, just a quick, my gut reaction when it happened. I was kind of with you. I thought it was a little bit early. I thought the timing was weird. It just kind of came out of nowhere. There was never is Nick Saban going to leave type of rumors going on. It was kind of weird timing with the whole thing. I think he realized he got as much as he could out of this Alabama roster. It was a stressful year, like you mentioned, having to fight and claw their way into the playoffs for the first time. They weren't guaranteed to get in. I think it took a lot out of him. I think the transfer portal and all the NIL stuff has really made him not love college football like he used to. So it was weird timing, but I'm with you. I think it was a good time for Nick Saban to go. But for my pick, I'm going to go with your second guy. I'm going to go with Dabo Swinney, and there's a few reasons why. One, in his contract, he's not allowed to leave Clemson for any school in the country except Alabama. That's the one school in his contract that says he's allowed to go to. It's a really weird thing. He made that, I think it was after he won the national championship with Deshaun. He put that in his contract. He's like, I'll stay. Man. I'm not going anywhere else, but if Bama calls me, I'm leaving you guys. Bama. Yeah.
Wow.
And
I didn't know that.
This was the worst Clemson team he's had since he's been there. I think similar to Nick Saban in Alabama. I think Dabo got as much as he can out of Clemson. I don't think he's getting the recruits he used to. I think the one thing that he loves more than anything is recruiting and getting those big names. And in the ACC for Clemson, they weren't coming there. They're all going to the SEC. They're going to the Pac-12, the Big Ten. And I think this is a good chance for Dabo to kind of rebrand himself and be, as everyone knows, one of the best college coaches in the entire league. I think the one thing that really is going to drive Bama wanting him as much as him wanting Bama is the one thing that Dabo is really good at is recruiting quarterbacks. Dabo's excellent at getting those guys. Got Deshaun Watson, got Trevor Lawrence at Clemson, knows how to recruit quarterbacks. Bama's, as much as Nick Saban's been great there, he's never really recruited quarterbacks well. He's never gotten the quarterback that, other than Tua for a year, no one really thought Bama had the quarterback. So I think getting Dabo and his ability to build an offensive culture in this college football, I think that's a natural fit there. I do like Kiffin as well. He's always flirted with going to Alabama. I think that's a natural fit as well.
Sleeper.
I don't think Dan Lanning's going to leave Oregon. They just had Dylan Gabriel, the Oklahoma quarterback, transfer there. I think he's going to give it one more run with him. But I do like that pick a lot. But I think Dabo is my top pick.
If Bama calls, though, is Lanning gone?
I think it's hard to turn down that offer. You can have all the morals you want. You can have all the top recruits coming to you want. It's like getting your dream job. Like Bama is the job you want in college football. It's like Bama and Georgia is kind of creeping up there. Those are the two jobs everyone wants. So it's really tough to turn down Alabama.
Yep. I'm with you, man. Look, shout out to Nick Saban, man. Hell of a career. It is time for him to move on, though.